got gators in it.
Oh, yeah? Well, me and the Lord, we got an understanding. We're on a mission from God.
They shouldn't have given you ashy blokes YouTube.
Cursed be the ground for our sake. Both thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for us. For out of the ground we were taken, for the dust we are. And to the dust we shall return.
All right, good people. All right, good people. It is a Wednesday, and you know what that means. It's time to punch the clock, right? Okay. I'm going to do something that has been sent to me by 3 or 4 people. Okay. African versus African American women, as far as culture is concerned. So they're going to be talking about that. And I've seen some of it. I haven't seen most of it. So we're going to react to it together. And from what I've heard, it's pretty much what we already thought it was, right? Especially the passport bros are reporting back exactly what the differences are. So basically, now they're running the experiment. We've already run the experiment with the passport bros. Now they're actually doing it themselves. So maybe with the environment and Trump being in office, Black women are actually coming into an awareness where they have to get better. Okay, they gotta get better. Like Cynthia Cooper said when she got to USC and she saw Cheryl Miller play, and she was like, and she thought she was the hottest ticket in the city, and then she said, "Shit, okay, damn," and she said, "Coop, you got to get better." So she better than you. You got to get better, okay? Black women have to get better. Anyhow, let's go ahead and welcome some people, and we'll get started and do a punch the clock and get our hour in. Prince is batting first. Pirate broadcaster batting second. L's active. What's going on? Batting third. Luther with the cleanup. Quentin, what's going on? Mel, my Waffle House king. Lavaris, how's the studying going, bro? Have you taken your test yet? Tao, what's going on? Tao, I looked at that, and what he said about socialism is the same thing that me and Dr. Gigi said maybe 3 years ago, something like that. Maybe three years ago, something like that. DJ Scan, what's going on? Martin Muhammad, what's going on? Oh, no problem, man. That's what I'm here for, man. Your job is to take what I have taught you or showed you, improve upon it, and teach somebody else. Okay. My master teacher taught me, and my only burden is to actually go and actually give it to somebody else. So that's what I'm doing. This is part of my mission. Shannon Green, what's going on? Saint Cyr, what's happening? Trust and believe, man. I would love to make more money for doing this, but it is what it is. Carl, what's going on? Gundam, what's happening? Don Calypso. Black women are very much similar to Western African women from the Gulf of Guinea because that's where our ancestors were taken from. Yeah, well, but they're not going to go all the way to East Africa to take you, okay? To bring slaves back, okay? They're going to come from that area, okay, and put them on a ship. So it only makes sense. Kelvin, what's happening? There's there's another book I think my dentist actually told me about. It's called Salt, okay, where slaves were taken from East Africa in a caravan to actually transport goods. And once they were there, they didn't want to take them back, so they sold them off. So some of the East African slaves were actually brought from the east coast of Africa across the desert uh, to Western Africa and then sold off. So that's the only exception. There's Toya with my apple. What's going on? And that neck. Adric, what's happening? LAXT, what's happening? Kevin, what's happening? Jesse, what's going on? The Black Toxic, what's going on? Ilias, what's happening? Solomon, what's up? Paul, what's happening? Class is in session. Palm Beach Mike, what's happening? Nema, Kennard, what's going on? Big Trick, what you got going on today? Just punching the clock, man. Nothing special. So you pull an all-nighter on Art last show, then come up today, man. Where do you get the energy, BGS? I ain't got to punch the clock like you guys do, man. That's where it is. If trust and believe, if I had a 9 to 5 like y'all, I would not be doing this shit. Shannon Green, what's up? Mark Bryant, D. Yeah, I do that to Art and AB, and if I can, sometimes even with Charles, if he comes on at a decent hour, okay, because I'm trying to support, trying to bring eyeballs. Bodies I'm in China, yeah, basically, yeah. It was actually lunch was actually pretty good, Mr. J Matt. What is it? Inzuri Sana, very good. Chance, what's going on? D, what's happening? I might be dusty, but I sure ain't rusty. That is true. Well oiled. Pragmatic Prime. What's going on, Little Maple Leaf? Lord Bison. Hey, Little Maple Leaf, you back on the block? Lord Bison, Brothers of Voice South Africa, the black women there are on the same BS. Well, because they're white adjacent. They're white adjacent. And a lot of your South African women are really money hungry. So basically, a lot of brothers have gone there, and a lot of Western money has spoiled them. So in South Africa, I don't recommend unless you want a semi-American lifestyle. I would recommend Ghana or Ghana, Uganda, and Kenya. That's why a lot of brothers are headed to Kenya. Okay, Ghana is even kind of spoiled. Okay, it's been westernized a little bit. So in Tanzania, I would say Tanzania, but Tanzania is still a little rough. So I wouldn't recommend Tanzania. But you got 54 African countries, man. You don't have to go to South Africa. There's other countries that Uganda speaks English. Zimbabwe speaks English, which is just above. Kenya speaks English. Ghana speaks English. Senegal speaks English. So you don't have to go to South Africa. Woody Mac, what's going on? Landon, what's going on? Indigo Flow, what's happening? Terry Golds, what's going on? Work tonight and late night study, man. Got to get it in, man. They don't pay you for easy stuff, okay? Ado Art, what's going on? Man, with my kids, man, my kids and my niece and nephew, man. Sometimes I wish I had to learn the cloud engineering so I could teach them. These goddamn millennials, man, you almost have to learn it yourself and make them do it, okay? Because trying to get them to learn it on their own, man, it's like pulling freaking teeth. It really is. I'm at 89% on the SAA's course. We'll go ahead and finish the course by the end of the week. And then practice exams next, and then actual exam. Cool. What book are you using, Lavers? Julius, what's going on? Michael, what's happening? Jim Rat, fellow Nigerian here. This will be an interesting live. Yeah, I've heard that, man. The rule of two will be upheld. Yeah. Mental agility, what's happening? Salute to the master teacher in the chat. My 1-year anniversary is next weekend. No issues. Get your passport, and you can bring her here as long as you safeguard her mindset. Yeah, I think Trump changing these rules about marriage and green cards is gonna change some of these female scammers. Okay, they won't be able to pull that crap. So, but the thing is, even with that, man, I think a foreign wife's divorce rate is like 12% compared to 80% if you married an African American woman. Dr. Els, what's going on? Dr. Els is doing some pretty good stuff, man. But I think you're a little bit too. Well, Dr. Els got to be Dr. Els, right? He's kinder on the women than I am. Okay, especially with that dating over 50, man. If women expect you to date over 50, they got something else coming, man. Kick rocks. Okay, if the dude got money to date, to spend that kind of money, why spend it on a 50-year-old? Kick rocks. Gabar, what's going on? Landon, what's going on? Black Money and Power, what's going on? Donald Smith, Spirit Man Baltimore. Yeah, you and Angel Reese. Age of Machines, what's going on? Checking in, great stuff, opening my mind a lot. Okay, cool. Now we just scratching the surface of the rabbit hole, man. Lord Bison, crime in Joburg, Cape Town, and Durban is crazy. That's what I'm hearing, man. That's what I'm hearing, man. Well, I was telling a friend of mine, man, because she's in Joburg. And I said, Joburg is ghetto, man, and she started laughing. Babu, Ilias, Don Calypso. I know there's a population of Black Americans who repatriated to Senegal. I thought Senegal was a friend. I thought Senegal was English speaking, man. DM. Yeah, Uganda and Malawi also speak English. Yeah, I'm talking about some of the bigger countries. My man has been listening to the Patreon on the car rides. He's a music major. He said maybe I should become a Dusty Cloud engineer. Yeah, you probably should. He should. While it's paying, man, you can do more than one thing. You losing studying for my SAA too? Okay, cool. Okay, using Adrian Cantrell's SAA course. I'm on using the blue book that Jules recommended. The blue book covers services and that Adrian doesn't cover. Cool. Chaz, what's happening? Kenya Mosley, what's up? Mark Bryant. Bowie Banks, hey, just a lot of Black American women are becoming passport sisters going to Nigeria and Ghana to find husbands. Have you noticed? They've been doing that, man. The thing is that that's not new. That's like a 30-year-old thing about Black women have been going to Ghana, man, for about 40 years, man. That's not new. It's because Ghana is probably the safest place to go. And the reason they go to Nigeria is because there's a lot of Nigerian men here in the States that they have either dated or been married to. So they're used to Nigerian men. So that's probably why you see Nigeria and Ghana. Siderio, what's going on? Inspired Truth, what's happening? MS Delta, what's going on? The spook that sat by the door. How's the Chinese coming? Saint Seer, what's going on? Let's see. Don Calypso, no BG Senegal is former French colony, maybe Gambia. Gambia is a is Anglophone. But I thought Senegal was because I see a lot of English speakers going to Senegal. Okay. All right. I stand corrected. There's a bunch of places that speak English. Okay. I do art. Landon, what's going on? Els. Everybody's correcting me. What's the British colony that's the British colony that they set up for slaves in in Africa, the one that speaks English. Learning Chinese has been a very interesting. I can see some type of ancient knowledge. The Chinese word for Taurus is golden cow. Yep. Basically, they're direct descendants. Sierra Leone, yeah. Liberia is an American colony. Yeah, Liberia is an American colony. They are well, okay. Okay, the reason that women are going to um, passport sis to Ghana is because Ghana is probably the safest country in Africa. That's probably why. So safety first. Okay. Nigeria is because there's a lot of Nigerian people in America that these women have come across. So those are the two countries that they actually go to. They don't really go to South Africa or Kenya like that, but they go to Ghana and Nigeria because it's more familiar to them. And plus, they go to school with a lot of Nigerian women. Your biggest group of Africans here in the United States are Nigerian. There goes your Africa facts for today. Yep, yep, yep. Yeah, but there's plenty of countries that speak English in Africa. You don't have to go to South Africa. Okay, Zimbabwe. There's a bunch of them that speak English. Um, what's up, Doc? Anyhow, let's go ahead and get started, man. Since I'm punching the clock and we're 20 minutes in. Any other questions before I get it? Before I start? I never knew Tony Baker. Okay. Oh. No, the thing is that Kenya was going through a terrorist patch maybe 10, 15 years ago where it wasn't as safe. And the men men in East Africa are not as welcoming as the men in West Africa. And plus, you notice that they don't go to Angola, okay? They don't go to Sierra Leone. They don't go to Senegal. They don't go to Gambia for the most part, right? Where do they go? They go to Ghana and they go to Nigeria for those two reasons. One, because Ghana is very safe. Okay, that's the first spot a black woman will land is Ghana. The second spot is Nigeria, is because they've either gone to school with, dated, or been around Nigerian people. 9 times out of 10, if you see a woman going to Nigeria, is because she knows somebody, man. They ain't just going there just to go visit. Nigeria is one of those countries that I would not just go there just to go visit, okay, without knowing somebody. Before I even get there, I got to know somebody. They ain't never gonna see no passports. Just jump on a plane and go to Nigeria, okay? Just on a humbug. You can do that with you can do that in you can do that in Kenya. You can do that in South Africa. You can do that in Ghana. You cannot do that in Nigeria. That's one place I would not go without knowing anybody. Will the Lakers keep LeBron? Yeah, if LeBron wants to stay, they will. I think it's more about LeBron wanting to stay. I don't think LeBron wants to stay because it's whatever reason he's not really getting along with Luka Doncic. Because Luka Doncic wants to be the alpha. Botswana, Cameroon, Eswatini, Gambia. I thought Cameroon was French speaking, but Gambia, Ghana, Kenya, Lesotho, Liberia, Malawi, Namibia, Nigeria, Rwanda. Yeah, there's lots of places that speak South Sudan, Sudan, yeah, Uganda, yeah, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. Yeah, Sudan and South Sudan. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cameroon is shaky. Okay, yeah. Yeah, there's 3 provinces that do. What I'm saying is, as a country, that's not Cameroon will not be my first spot that I would go, because there's countries where English is standardized. Anyhow, let's get busy.
It's not encouraged.
Let me explain. Let me explain, especially for like the Nigerian culture, right?
As soon as that's done and out the way, the career
offered, and $6.8 million in New York. Again, the first prompt is African women face more social and family pressure to marry than African American women. 3, 2, 1. Okay, anyone can share. Anyone who feels strongly about this can share.
It's definitely more pressure over here. Because
I agree. There's more pressure, definitely. Okay.
it's like, once you're done with college, why are you single? Like, you have one job, get that degree and get married. 2 jobs, but the main one is get married. Okay. You can get the degree if you need to.
I also feel like the way that we're raised too, I feel like they're simultaneously raising us to become wives as well, to learn how to be a homemaker.
Yes.
You know, so it's
Yes, black girl. That's traditional. Those are traditional societies. Yes. Okay. I don't know why black women think that's so hard. Yes. It's not, and then what they said is their mothers doing it, right? What did I say? And I was just saying this yesterday. It's not the man's job to make her a wife. That's her mother's job, right?
that plus also focusing on your studies. As soon as that's done and out the way, the career is built. Where's your husband?
Where's your husband?
Where's your husband? Yeah.
But yet you're not allowed to date.
Exactly.
You can't date.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you're supposed to be married by the time you're done with school.
Make it make
That's
sense.
the story.
Excuse me, did you say that you cannot date?
I mean,
It's not encouraged.
Let me explain. Let me explain, especially for like the Nigerian.
You can court, but you can't date. Okay, not dating in the sense that they date here. Dating is different there than it is here.
In culture, right? I feel like we're also very heavy in religion. So all that sex outside of marriage, all of that, they kind of frown down. They look down on it. So they want you to like focus on your studies. Don't talk to boys. Oh, you hear your point, like, don't talk to boys. Focus on your studies. But they expect
They were raised on the continent. They weren't raised American, so they're gonna sound different.
you to still be married by the time you're done with your degree. So it's like the pressure for us is, I think, especially when you're a girl or a woman, it's so strict. Like, you gotta be married before 30. There's an unspoken pressure. I mean, life is changing now. Times are changing, but I feel like
You don't want to be a leftover woman, right? But basically, got to be married and start having kids by the time you're 30, right? It's like we make this shit up. Black women act like we just made this shit up out of nowhere, out of whole cloth. No, it's bullshit. It's been that way. It ain't new.
still there. I mean,
Yeah.
by the time you look at 25, everybody married.
I feel like in my family specifically, like the women in my family had children very young. So they actually discouraged me from.
Well, if she's got an education now, Calypso, they pay for the education, right? So they put more money into that woman. So naturally, they're gonna demand a higher bride price.
Any of that. They say, I would rather you live your life and go towards your career. And if you like find that, that's cool. I don't really get pressured about it. I mean, I get teased like, you got a boyfriend, or but it's not like, why aren't you married?
Right.
So interesting.
I can say the same for me, like coming from what I call a Black family in America. Like, nobody's really pressing you about getting married. They're just making sure, like, don't bring no knucklehead over here.
Yeah, exactly. See the difference? Okay. Don't bring no knucklehead. In other words, did you hear them? The African women say one negative thing about their men. Okay, they say nothing about their men, right?
So, and they really do press like going to college, going to get a career, like being successful on your own. And my aunties are always saying, have that money in your back pocket because you can't trust no man.
See how negative it is. Okay, that's the American slave culture. See how negative they're talking about their man. Did you hear that from any? And that's just within the first couple of minutes. That's in the first 2 minutes. Already you see some negative shit about black men. And they say it's not true. But they say we hate them, right? They can say anything they want about us, but we hate them. Make it make sense, right?
Kind of idea, which is sad. I kind of think that it's more valuable, kind of what you talked about. It's like, oh, we're teaching you how to be a wife and we're valuing marriage. Although I think the pressure might be a little bit too much. I think it's nice to know that the core foundation is family, because I think that's what makes someone successful, is having a strong family.
It said the pressure might be too much to get married, okay?
family unit. Oh my gosh,
Yes, that's
Very
beautiful.
good.
I also think marriage in Africa is looked at as prestige.
Yeah.
It's a privilege, and everyone in the community, for you to be married is looked at as success. And here it's not. In America, it's different because people encourage you to live your life. So just see how things are, test the waters.
But if
In other words, the individual versus the family. Okay. Yeah, but most traditional societies are like that, right? Only in the West, okay, only West, especially America, do they teach that shit, right?
you are married, in Africa, are the marriages successful? Like, is there a high rate of divorce like it is in the US?
It's definitely high. I ain't gonna hold you.
Okay.
You guys, we're all from different parts of Africa. So
Right.
I'm not gonna speak for everybody, but like, it's still high in Nigeria. The thing is that people are not legally filing. they're leaving
They
separate
carry on.
lives.
They carry on.
The man will go.
Oh, in other words, a walking divorce, just like they used to do it in the States. So this is something that Black folks used to do, before they wouldn't do it on paper.
Oh, and marry another wife.
Right, that's what I.
They're not. It's not registered, but they're not together. And
Okay, because there's strict rules. It's like if you're married, then you're married, and you cannot marry another woman
Yeah.
because that would be bigamy. Like in the States, they can't.
yeah, that's the
run
thing.
around
Like
and do that.
different cultures allow it.
But I was going to say, even from your culture, you said that your moms, are teaching you how to be wives and how to keep a good house. In the U.S., as a little girl, you're raised that way too. Your parents are, my mom anyway, and especially coming from the South, they're teaching you
And she's older. She's an older generation. How about the young folks?
how to cook.
Absolutely.
Number one,
Yeah.
clean.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do that laundry and work.
Okay.
See, so it's not like, oh, when you get this husband, then you're gonna live this life of luxury. It's like, no, you're gonna have this career as well, and kids. So it's all loaded. Our society puts that on you too, and looks at women like, I'm not gonna say today, because right now, this is what, 2025. So things are changing. But I'm gonna say
They're not changing. They have changed. It's not they're changing. They have changed.
let's say in the 60s, in the 70s, and even in the 80s, they're like, even if you went to college, well, you haven't found a prospect for a husband?
Yeah.
Well, what are you going to do? And now I believe women now are just like, I don't need a husband.
See here?
I just want to add to something my sister said on this end, right? You talked about status and how marriage elevates your status in Africa. It's when you're here in America, you can be single and still, you might hear commentary and it's not that deep.
Right.
The way life is in Nigeria, I'm telling you, when you enter certain rooms with a man, you can feel the difference. Your respect level is different. People listen to you more.
Yeah.
It's still a man. It's really heavy on being a man's world. So women, a lot of the times, are looking for husbands for protection, for security, for that financial stability. It's the economy, the way the whole country is set up. That man is there to give you a softer, better life. It might not be the case behind closed doors, but outside to the public, to everybody else, you have that leader and that protection. It's just that you feel it instantly. I was just in Nigeria last year. I went for business. Nobody cared that I was a businesswoman coming there for what I was doing, because anytime I went somewhere, they would take longer to bring my food. The difference was clear when my male friends were with me, where it was like, guy, bring that food now. 10 minutes, food is at the table. But when I'm there, I gotta wait till the waiter. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that when I go to
You're
Nigeria,
unprotected. Different whole different society, right? Whole different get down. Okay. Whole different get down.
and I'm with the man, I don't even look at a bill. Like, it's different. Like, you feel the society leaning towards like, oh, you're at a higher rank because you have this man. Yeah. And God help you, let him have some money.
Right.
You're
And
really soft.
I think even too, like the prevalence of like arranged marriages in your guys' culture, like that in and of itself signifies like the importance of marriage for like African American women. Like personally for me, my mom is Japanese, my dad is African American. Like even though he did definitely press like, okay, where's your husband? He's not sitting here like trying to actually find me a husband, So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't heard a lot from you.
Yeah, I mean, I put no because I didn't grow up in a very strict African household, and that's like not very common as an African person. But yeah, like it was more so like, do your studies. If you want to date, but be careful. It was very like free, and I appreciate that because I can't relate to a lot of the things that a lot of African people go through in like the households, but yeah, I think my mom has a very open-minded, leans very American, I would say.
Yeah,
but she's like an African woman. She's African. But yeah, it's just, I can't really relate, but I definitely agree and see it happen a lot. It's a big thing in African culture.
Are you 30 plus?
I'm 21.
Okay, I was gonna say
Yeah, your age is,
wait a little longer.
Yeah. Another host must be Nigerian. Okay, you ain't felt it yet.
Okay, I do have a question for the ladies on the African side. Do you feel like there's an expectation for African women to submit more in relationships or face stricter gender roles than African American women?
Absolutely.
Is that in the USA or just in the
in the USA, I guess we could.
Absolutely.
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 I feel like if they know that you're African, and because they've had that African women know how to submit,
Yes.
they expect that from you. And
Yeah, they know how to submit. They've been taught how to submit. Okay. It's not something that they demand. Okay. They expect it. We have to beg for it. Black men have to beg for scraps, where African men it's expected out of an African woman to submit and follow her husband. Okay, big difference. But all women are the same, right? I don't care where you go. All women are exactly the same, according to some of these people, right? Ain't no difference between an African woman and an African American woman. You got 4 and 4 on both sides saying there is a difference, right?
it just makes the whole dynamics just go a little bit off.
Mhm.
But yes, yeah, it's expected.
Are there any examples of the ways that an African man or his family would expect you as a wife to behave that may be different than maybe African American experience?
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
I hate
here
to
we
be the
go.
one talking all the time, but I'm gonna have to jump in here. I remember dating this one guy, and when I first went over to see his parents and everything, it was great because they were like, oh, okay, you finally brought somebody that makes sense. It was good, and they cooked for me. Everything was great, right? I'm thinking, oh, this is a different experience. I'm thinking I'm in here and it's soft. Next time I come, they're looking at me like, oh, okay, where are you from? I tell them where I'm from, and they're like, you're going to cook, because I'm from Akwa Ibom in Nigeria, and they're like, you're going to cook that edikaikong, which is one of our like very well-known soups in Nigeria. So I'm like, yeah, but my parents are chefs. I don't, And they're looking at me like, so I'm just like, all right. I felt that instant pressure already to prove myself. Like, okay, yes, I can be a good wife to this man, but why? Why isn't he cooking for me?
I can't cook for that, my man, but why? See the American attitude because she went to school over here? See? I said, I always knew black men in the United States started in a hole. Seeing this hits different. Yeah. But why? See? But why? In other words, she been around sisters too long, okay?
Out later on, he couldn't cook. And that was one of my deal breakers. I had to let him go. But,
he couldn't cook. That was my deal breaker because he couldn't cook, okay? If he couldn't cook, that was a deal breaker for her because, she wanted a partner. She wanted a wife. Let's put it that way. Because she's the man in the relationship, right?
For me, it's like you can feel that. Oh, they want to act like, oh, it's all good, but there's still these expectations. Yeah, and she take care of him.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
Is there anything you'd like to add to that, or anything that you've experienced?
So on the African American woman's side, I think we have a bad rap in America. Really? I think people already know that if they get with a black woman that's from America, don't expect no submitting. Expect to be quiet. Just how I'm talking now, that's how I'm going to talk to you. Have you seen Angela Bassett in that lovely movie, Waiting to Exhale? You can expect that you will not be cheating on me after 11 years of helping you out because your car is going to blow up. I just really think that that's kind of been a stereotype, that there is a little truth to it. We are raised to be independent.
Yeah, a stereotype? Really? Okay. So that's not true. So all the women on TikTok and YouTube and Twitter and Instagram talking this shit, they're playing a character. So that's not true. Interesting. Okay.
We are raised, as she said earlier, to have a job, do all these things, and raise the kids and do that. So if that's going to be the case, I'm not putting up with no mess. So that means if you're not acting right, if you're not talking right, if something's not right, I can speak up for myself. But I think it also gives us kind of like a bad stereotype in that way. It's like,
and it's not a stereotype. And it's not a stereotype, it's the truth. The thing is, they get defensive that that's not really who we are. Bullshit.
Ooh, she's gonna give me some black attitude.
Yeah, it is. You just admitted to it. You just and jumped in and admitted to it.
Thank you.
Everyone talks about Black excellence, about culture, about connections.
But what good is that if you don't have access to it?
And the next prompt is, I would date a man from the other community. 3, 2, 1. Oh, that's interesting. Why wouldn't you date a man who is African American?
Well, I say that now that I'm dating a man from my country. It was never like something that I didn't want, but now that like I'm with him, I see the blessing of having someone who comes from the same background, comes from the same culture, has the same faith, and stuff like that, was raised the same way as me. So I feel like if I was in a relationship with someone who was not Zimbabwean, I have felt like you kind of have to over-explain your culture while you do certain things.
Zimbabwe is very different. I can say that. The women from Zimbabwe are very different.
Why you eat certain things, why you dress a certain way, So I enjoy the fact that I don't have to explain myself, or defend my culture, yeah.
Who here, just quickly, who here has dated from the other community? You can just raise your hand. I'm just curious.
Can I just explain?
You don't have to.
Let me explain. I have to explain because there's a difference.
Okay.
I've dated somebody who was Nigerian but born here and raised almost the same way an African American man was raised, but his parents were Nigerian, and I feel like it didn't sip in all the way. Like it was just a little, So I don't know what to consider him. Honestly, sometimes I struggle, but.
Said B-dubs don't need to worry about submitting. Submission is meant for wives, which is something the overwhelming majority of them will never be. That's true. They want to be brides and not wives. Okay, it's about culture, African accent. It's about the culture. What's going on, number 2?
He still had the African American culture more than the Nigerian, so I guess I could count him as one of y'all.
So, ladies, you said you also that you would date from.
I said I had a 35-year-old American Igbo Christian woman with no children, was previously married, native ceremony, no legal church wedding, tried to run game on me. Yeah. Oh yeah, well, Nigerians will run game, okay? Of course she wants to explain. Yeah, she's the loud one in the bunch, right?
This other community, African men. Is there anything you want to?
I don't really know a whole lot, honestly, but I would say that I'm open to it. I wouldn't say that like anybody from a certain like I don't want to exclude anybody. That's what.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I'm the same way. Like, if you want to fall in love, if that's your goal, I think you shouldn't really look on the outside. You're more so just open to anything. But specifically when it comes to African men, to me, I think it would be more so because I would like to feel a connection more to Africa. I feel like you call yourself African American, but somebody says, well, what are you mixed? People often say, what am I mixed with? And I'm like, I'm black. That's it. But if I feel like that would give me more of a sense and an understanding of the African culture, but I don't think his parents would like me because I'm definitely an African American woman. I am not an African woman, so I don't know how to make the soup. I don't know how to fold the clothes like that. I'm gonna hire people to do that. That's how I was raised.
No, yeah, I'm gonna hire people to do that. I'm not doing shit. I'm gonna be the boss chick, okay? I said I got two of the light skin trifecta. I don't have to do nothing, right?
I get what you don't know how to do.
So. You know what? I actually relate to what they're saying as well, because the reason why I wanted to turn my paddle both ways was because I'm also at an age where I have to be open to whatever God has for me. And as much as, like you said, it's easier being with a Nigerian because I don't have to explain, and y'all don't already tell that you can tell that my accent is changing because
we just put that on a t-shirt. They want to be brides, not wives. That's true. My sisters got married, and same thing, right? They want to be a bride, but they don't want to be a wife.
I'm looking at Michelle, and she's Nigerian, and I'm like, Ghanaian, sorry, because I'm like, my accent is changing, but I'm saying this because when I'm with somebody who's Nigerian, I'm like totally just myself.
Yeah.
When black women say they want to fall in love, what they're saying is they want a guy to pour into them. Okay, love is a one-way thing to them, which is catered to their emotions. That's what they want. That's what they mean when they say fall in love. I said she'd hire people to work for her and treat them like shit. A man won't treat them bad. A man would be thankful and appreciative, cordial and polite. Okay. They erroneously believe rich, wealthy African women don't work. Yep, they do.
Not to say that I wouldn't be, just would take a lot of you making me feel comfortable and safe and all that stuff. So I'm open to
I think what she said is valid, like not having to over-explain yourself.
Yeah.
Like I can see that perspective, definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What would you like to say?
I would say that, I mean, I'm in a relationship at the moment and he's Filipino.
Okay.
And like I can like understand what, you know, what you're saying about, you know, you feel like
You're an African woman from, you know, what? You're an African woman, you're dating a Filipino. Interesting.
you're understood. But I think also, you know, and I'm a very open-minded person. But he takes the time to learn my culture. It's not that like I'm like African and he's Asian. It's like I'm African, he's Asian, and he's learning about like he was having a conversation with me. Like we go on like
If Americanized were a person, yep.
full-on conversations about African culture, like African American culture, because he's like he grew up a lot, like he's American. But yeah, I mean I have an open mind. But yeah, I do feel like
Your mother was an Americanized liberal woman. That's like she thinks that way.
whoever you're with, if they understand who you are, it doesn't matter what they look like, doesn't matter like who they are or where they come from, you will always feel at home. And yeah, I just wanted to put it out there.
I bet she was actually raised in a white enclave. She sounds that way. She sounds like she wasn't really raised around Black American females.
I have one question from the African women. How do you guys feel when you see an African American woman dating your African men? Like, you know what I mean? Like if we were at a party and I came in with this African man, would you welcome me into your circle? Would you be like, oh, no?
Personally, I have a lot of aunts now and uncles from different cultures. Like we have a brother-in-law from Spain. We have an aunt from Nigeria. I have an aunt who's African American. I have an aunt that's white, you know? And I feel like my family specifically, we are very welcoming.
Okay. But I wanted to ask that question because we hear a lot, you know what I'm saying? Sisters from the other side, they don't like African American women because we think, you know, we're better than them. You know, we think we're white. You know, you hear this about.
I've never heard that. I never heard that about African women thinking that about sisters. I've never heard that. Maybe it's in her experience, but I've never heard an African woman or been in on the continent and seeing an African woman treat somebody that looks like her a different way. I've never seen that.
So I just wanted to know, you know, would you be rolling eyes or would you be like, welcome?
I definitely feel like it's also how you lead into that family.
Yes.
We're very big on respect in
Yes.
Africa.
Yes.
So if you're leading already with an energy that's almost like, you know what I mean? You have to lead with love. You have to lead with respect. Forget love.
No, but you know what I'm saying.
No,
Like,
I know what
the
you're saying.
guy, like we are submissive. So we're not going to walk behind you. We're not going to be running the cook the food.
Oh, well, then you're going to have an issue then. Okay, you're going to have an issue then.
Food, you know, and honey, young fluffing pillows and doing all that.
I get that.
We're not going to do that. Would you?
No, I get that. But I'm saying, even with what you're saying, right? You can do all of that behind closed doors with your man, and it's not a problem. When you're coming to his family, you have to lead in almost over. You have to calm all of that down and just be more respectful.
Yes.
Like, for example, you can't eat our food and be like, this is, like, you know what I'm saying? You have to
be open.
You have to be open, you have to be respectful. And let me tell you, African people, very loving and friendly, especially when you come to our culture. We want to love on you. We want to show you everything. Our music, we're very welcoming.
Okay.
So it's just how you lead. That's basically what is respect.
Respect is a big thing.
Is that is the experience of like no respect? Do you guys receive that from Black women? Like, do you guys, when you guys have these experiences, do you feel like we don't respect your guys' like culture?
I haven't seen that.
No,
I haven't seen that.
Honestly, it's just. It's based on the person. To be honest with you, it's like I said.
You understand? They haven't seen it. That's what I'm saying. I don't know where she gets that from. I haven't seen it. Yeah, African women, they do love Black women. They really do. Okay, sometimes to a fault.
When you're leading with respect and love, it's hard to just give you an energy. Most of the time it works out. That they blend in. We even be forgetting that y'all not even one of us.
Literally.
Like you come to a Nigerian wedding, it's like you don't know what they're wearing. You guys are wearing our outfits and everything. Like we're family.
They don't know, man. You're the same color. I said women who shop at Lane Bryant shouldn't have an opinion about relationships, right? And really, most African American women do not have a problem with the Black American men marrying an African woman. They don't. It's because they the same color. They don't have a problem with that. They have a problem if you marrying a white woman, okay, or an Asian woman, or somebody that don't look like her. They have a problem with that. But as far as an African woman, they don't care. I don't know why they even came up. Funding for Black Queen operations, BGS. Okay, appreciate you. The woman in a t-shirt and jeans could pass for an Ethiopian. Yeah, she could. You can tell she's mixed with something.
We don't really, yeah.
I also just want to say that the people that have taken care of me most and very lovingly ever since I came to this country is Black women, Black American women, and I've been with them ever since. And so it's all love. Yeah.
How would your that is
love that?
I can relate to that as well. How would your family feel about you dating someone from the opposite community, opposite in this discussion?
My family is like childish, so they like to tease. Like anything, they'll probably just crack some jokes
on the accent.
Yeah, I mean not even like, oh, that's what you want, or
right.
like, oh, you was going across the pond or something.
Yeah.
They would just crack jokes, but they wouldn't shun him or like not welcome him.
That's good.
The only thing the women would say in my family is, make sure you know how many wives he has.
Oh my gosh! Yeah,
Yes,
see, that's
yes.
a common
That is true. That is true. I said, I take it you didn't see the whole dust up about Essence Festival being taken over by Nigerians, Black women boycotted. That's a different story. Okay, that is a completely different story. That has to, that's the dust up about them paying for a certain experience, and it's you don't go to Essence to listen to African music. Okay, so that is more of a vendor experience. It has nothing to do with the Black women and African women. Okay, that's a business experience. It's all about the raising of the mother. Yeah, well, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to defend my man. But sorry, check, girl.
Put the check.
Check.
On anybody. Yeah.
We'll move on to the next problem.
Hi, y'all. My name is Blessing, and I'm the owner of Aboki Bee Beef Jerky. This is the best beef jerky in the world.
You look more nice, So in social media, they're watching America, they're watching you guys. So a lot of people are rebelling that whenever you go, like even when I was at campus at my country, like 5 years ago, it was at university. It's a privilege. Like if people see you putting on like a wig, like very long up to like here, you look more nice, So it makes you like stand out more, and people look at you differently than having your natural hair. So it's like it's running out. It's becoming like a thing of like yesterday, and here people are embracing African more natural hair here more. So it's just a thing that is changing.
When I did my big chop when I was in 7th grade, literally people were telling me like natural hair isn't for everybody, and like you should get a perm, you should straighten your hair. Like people always like, oh, you should straighten your hair, it would be so pretty. And I kind of hate that comment. Right. But it just wasn't that embraced. I'm from the South, so I was the first woman like in my grade to like do the big chop. I think when I became like around senior year, that's when other girls started doing the big chop. And then I was like, interesting. But it was sort of like it took a while to get there. And I think it's still like if you don't have a certain hair texture, or if you don't like wear braids all the time, I don't know. It's just, I don't know, people don't really
fully accept.
Yeah. Identify, I guess.
But now it's accepted. They've even created a law, because people were getting fired.
Yeah.
Black women were getting fired. They came with braids. They were like, it's unacceptable. It doesn't look professional for you to have your hair, natural style or in braids. Or in school, they were doing.
That's the old matriarch, man, trying to still push that shit. Is what it is. It's not, telling people this shit's not new, okay? It just takes time for it to roll downhill. The sister will brainwash your foreign bride in the airport. Yeah, they will. They'll try to. They'll try to, but the good thing is that her mother has trained her. The woman on the far right is what I would end up with, okay? Mr. Daddy Mac, the hand that rocks the cradle is the hand that rules the world. William Ross Wallace, you can see the difference in the maternal influence in each of them. Yep, you can. Even the big louder one, you can see the difference.
This whole thing, but now it's like you should embrace everybody's culture, and that's why they fought so hard for it. So now anything goes.
But in Africa, do you feel like the women are having more pressure to move away from their natural hair? I think you kind of spoke to that because of social media and watching.
Yes.
Do you think watching African American women specifically, or watching just American women?
I feel like watching just America or like just social media, just giving them that pressure that they have to look a certain way.
What about the Africans here in America? Do you believe that Do you have that same pressure once you're in America?
No,
Okay.
because I feel like once you're here, the first maybe like 2 years, you try to blend in, but at maybe like the third year, you get tired of it all, and then you just start putting a wrap on your hair, on your head, or just moving with your natural hair.
Okay.
So I definitely agree with what she's saying for sure. Like now, especially in Nigeria, everybody's doing those lace front. Like it's just, and it's more of like the more silkier it is, the more expensive. People are spending the rent on their weaves. Like the pressure.
Yeah, 30 years behind. That's why. Okay. The average is 30 years behind the African American women. So that's why.
To keep up with the love and hip hop ladies here in America is crazy. Back in Nigeria, like it's a lot. So do they look down on you if you have your natural hair? No, but to be in, I would say like to just kind of be in certain rooms, I guess, just to stand out. Nobody's gonna look down on you, but you just would be looking. Everything's about money. You want to look expensive, get the long weave. So that's just
Honestly,
what it is.
Go ahead.
Sorry, but I just want to say like the rapper aesthetic or the rapper baby mama aesthetic, like she said with the love and hip hop, or like how Nicki Minaj has a long like all the way
buzz
down her
down.
legs. Yeah. I think that kind of did popularize it and like make it sort of like you said, a status symbol.
It's a status symbol.
Yeah.
Especially with colors. We still doing our braids fresh in Africa, so we're good on braids. But you know, the weddings, everybody got the 360s. How you call it?
But I also feel like, specifically in my country, it doesn't matter. Like I could go to work with cornrows. I could go to work with a wig. I could go to work with a head wrap. I can even show up to a wedding like that, and that's fine. So I feel like back home, I feel like it would be more accepted for you to just come as you are, whether it looks good or not here in America. I just like how relaxed it is, you know?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say because
I love that because we do a lot of head wraps back home, so you can get with. I can't come to work with no gilly on my head.
Literally, you don't have to do too much. And
Because you're not in America, that's why. And in Africa, you can actually do that with head wraps and stuff like that. Different culture.
like that's even more beautiful, you know, when you just come as you are, come as how you're comfortable today, you know? So
yeah. I was gonna say because growing up, I grew up in Africa, and hair-wise, it was a lot of like do your braids. It was more affordable, I would say, to do my hair in Africa.
Yes.
But yeah, so I guess moving to the US, it was like this pressure of that's the only time I started to become a little insecure about my hair, because growing up in Africa, I didn't think about my hair. It was just kind of something that was taken care of. But as soon as I moved to the US, it was like I became aware of my hair, and I became aware of like the texture of my hair.
Listen to this, your texture of her hair, right? Okay.
I became aware of like me as a person. It was like this big like, oh, I am this like. I am, you know, this color, and my hair is this texture.
Yeah.
And it was just
Colorism is a Western thing, okay, and it's transferred through the women, okay. So although weaves, aka hair hats, are accepted in many parts of Africa, natural hair is preferred, and wearing weaves can be a symbol of the lower class. It can be, yeah. Unless you're Nigerian, and then okay, the lace fronts, because you spend a lot of money, is looked at differently. Lost in the sauce. Well, you know, it's just female culture. Okay.
This whole thing, and you know, at first we were doing like the regular things we would do in Africa, like you know, get my hair done. But then it became so expensive,
Oh my
that
gosh.
like now like it's only here and there that I'll get braids done. Like it's not even like it's not a regular thing as much as it. Sorry, as much
Like,
as
how
it
much
was
did it cost
before.
in Africa to get your hair
you could
braided?
get your hair done right now for like $5, $10.
Yeah.
It's very cheap.
That's
I'm so for real. I'm so for real. Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
back then, yes. And here, like I think, like simple, like $300 in
Yeah.
California.
Yeah.
It's 200.
Yeah, my braids are not more
You
than
have to
$25.
buy the hair, right? You have to buy the hair. Show up with the hair.
Here.
Then they still want 200 or 250, depending on the length. 300.
Oh, yeah.
For this hairdo.
No,
Instagram
back-
girlies,
It's crazy.
Like, come on.
they are
It's-
insane.
that's
I'm
what
not
we're
even
going
gonna
through.
lie.
But I feel like that aspect of it is what taught me, even as a professional, how to do my own hair. The amount of money that I've saved my mother, both my sister and I, since my mom hasn't touched my hair since I was like probably 8 because my sister learned, you know? So I feel like it's harder too once you come out here, especially as immigrants, like once you come into America, how do you keep up, you know? Because it's so expensive, you know, whereas something like that,
You gotta
it
get
is
that credit
luxury
card.
now. Yeah, exactly.
It's called capitalism.
But don't do it for your hair. Don't do it for your hair.
Hair credit
So
card
funny.
debt.
Haircut is crazy.
Okay, I feel you on that.
You gotta get that man.
Yes. Okay.
That's I think that's really a thing because like how American men always talk about like y'all be begging. Why y'all always asking for money?
Because it's an arm and a leg.
You want to chew it off.
You gotta get these nails done.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. And the next prompt is colorism affects us equally, whether in Africa or in America. 3, 2, 1. Okay, anyone can speak.
I actually did a project on this in high school because I thought it was such a huge deal in my family. I come from like the typical African American family, so you're gonna have like everybody of every shade in there. But on my mom's side, everybody was very, very light, and everybody prized being very, very light. They didn't do it on purpose, but that's the way that they were brought up. So it was very, very like, oh, you know, don't get out in the sun too much.
Boule. Okay, boule. It's boule, and the women actually perpetuate that stuff. Listen and learn.
You're gonna get too dark. Like being light was seen as being better.
Yep.
And then I also saw that at school because I went to schools where it was predominantly white or Hispanic. So the closer you were to that aesthetic, the more attractive you were looked as. So being a teenager, wanting to fit in, as you said, wanting to fit in with other people, there was this pressure. And I felt that awareness. Oh, my skin tone is just like this much off from being light enough to be cute. My hair is this texture. It's not straight enough. It's not like my mom's, or it's not like this person. So I really feel like it was heavy. And so I went to go see if it was like that across the world and in many different countries. So not even just in African culture, I've seen it all over the world. And I was just like, wow, people really do have this deep-seated hatred for darker skin and darker features and more indigenous features. And it's really, really sad because it's part of being human that people are going to be different. So to see a whole group of people as being, you know, trying to put them down, basically. So
I blame it on colonization and slavery.
Yes.
It's the root of it all, yeah.
I have a personal story to share because I remember I was born in Nigeria before I moved to the United States. And growing up in Nigeria, people would always make comments about my skin tone being yellow. They would always say, oh, yellow banana. You know, they'll make those comments. And, you know, I was pretty young, so I didn't really know it as colorism or anything. But I did know that I was different because they would always point out my skin tone. So even as a little girl, I used to kind of seep into my mind that, okay, I might be better because they're talking about my skin all the time, just being, you know, noticed. And so when my family moved to the United States when I was 10 years old, and I remember we moved to Wisconsin, so that was the first time of actually seeing what white people look like. So I remember being next to a young little white girl, and I put my skin against hers because back home they would say that I was like light skinned. So I was like, oh, I'm light skinned, right? And then I did that, and I was like, wait a second, I'm black. And that was my first realization that I was black, because I realized that the difference was so clear. And it almost felt like that magic that I used to have was kind of gone in that moment, because I mean, like I said, I was a kid, so I didn't really deep it too much as I'm deeping it now as an adult. But at that time I was just like, oh, okay. And
I feel better because I'm light skinned, right? That's a woman thing.
It's kind of, you know, grew up just realizing like, wow, like even anytime I would go back home, because I've been in America for a while, so my skin tone is a lot brighter when I would go back, and they would still make those comments, and I'm just like, wow, there really is a huge difference, like when people look at you based on your skin. But I didn't feel no special here. Here I was just like, it didn't matter what shade I was.
And it's interesting because being someone who is African, my parents are born in Ghana, but I was born here, so I kind of got both experiences. You can be sort of like light skinned in the African world, but in the African American world, being light skinned looks completely different.
You're black. You're black. It's called the one drop rule.
It's totally different. And so it's interesting kind of going between both worlds and how you're perceived.
And that's what I wanted to add too, because I think the question, and clarify me if I'm wrong, is if like colorism is like the same on both sides. I had my like answer green, and then I really thought about it, and I'm gonna switch to red. I feel like African women, and I think like, because a lot of what I learned about African women is through media. I mean,
and notice women, they never say think, okay? It's always I feel like, okay? I want you guys to pay attention to what them say. They've never said I think or I know. They say I feel, okay?
Like I don't have a lot of African people on my like in my life, but like with what with what was said earlier about how a lot of African like people watch African American like TV and things like that, like we don't have like people bleaching their skin, right? And like I think the examples like that really just show us that like there's levels to this colorism stuff. And I think like especially with Africa, like, you know, deemed quote unquote as a more impoverished.
And said, "It's my first day." Said, "First time dealing with colorism was in the 3rd grade. I asked my girl to be my Valentine, and she said she only likes light-skinned boys." Yeah, colorism is very deep amongst with the females. Very deep. Uh, Thinking is no, not think it's not out of style. The thing is that well, so if you hear, that's why when I first started this channel, especially during the Coliseum, I would never allow men to say feel. Okay, we don't use feel around it. We use think. Is because if you say the word feel, then you automatically dip into your feminine side or your emotions. Okay, I want a masculine, logical side. So we all think. You say I think something, then that kicks in your logic. Okay, because you can hear them. They don't say think, they say feel. Yeah. Anyhow.
State versus like America, where we're selling millions of dollars. It's like it
Yeah, she like I said, I think she says she's her mother's Japanese. So
in comparison to like African American women in America, I just think that like colorism isn't based on our survival. Like it's really not. Whereas like maybe African like women, it is, unfortunately.
I have a quick question though. Do you think being a lighter skinned African American woman and mixed race kind of might have colored your opinion? Because I can personally say growing up in America, like as she spoke, I could go in the Black community, I'm seen as lighter skinned to some people, but too dark in other circles. And it definitely affected how attractive. It even affected me going to auditions as an actress. They wanted a specific curl pattern. They asked me, can you please take a picture of your curl pattern? That determined whether or not I was going to get a job. So, and this is in America. And then, and there was skin bleaching in America. There's Ambi, if you ever look at that company of Ambi. So there's been years and years of that. Also, paper bag parties, if you look those up in the 1920s, if you were any darker than a paper bag, you could.
yes, that's the bourgeoisie. Okay, very true.
Even go to their college parties.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not saying like African American women's like experience of colorism isn't like valid in any experience, but like I just to say like in comparison to two different cultures, like we're Americans at the end of the day versus like a country, a continent like Africa that was literally stripped of its resources. Like they're thousands of years behind. Like I just think that they're like Ambi, like I'm not paper bag test. Yes, I agree, but like I don't know. Yes, I'm a light skinned woman. Yes, I'm my perspective is like of mixed race, but that doesn't mean that I'm not like cognizant of the fact that like darker skinned women have
can
like,
be true.
Yeah,
You're both right.
Yeah, like
This is I'm just saying advertising. It's not based on survival, and I'm just saying that if you looked at history, it was some people they did not, where they were denied certain jobs, they were denied access to certain resources because they were deemed as too dark. They weren't allowed to participate in certain things because they were too dark. So that's why I'm just asking, like, do you think that your experience colored that because you're not referencing the history of those things that happened in this country? So
and she's talking about her experience. Okay.
It really did happen, and it really did hinder people. It's hindered me in certain jobs. And only now has it, I would say since 2013, where people could wear a 4C texture in a commercial.
Yeah.
You didn't see that. So I think studying history is really important because then you'll see over time that certain things were not allowed, certain things weren't shown. There's certain singers that get more popularity. They don't have the same vocal range because they're lighter skinned with blonde.
It's because you live in a white country. Okay. This is not a black country.
Weave. And I think we know who that is.
No, you're right. I did want to just add to what she was saying as well too. I'm sorry, guys. I know you were waiting.
Yeah, you want.
I'll just say real quick.
I just want to add to what she was saying because back home in Nigeria, there are levels to it. Basically, like there's some people that I don't even want to put on lotion. I'm gonna bleach this skin because it is gonna elevate my status and put me in a better position. Still in entertainment, like what you were saying as well, because a lot of the times they're trying to get in those spaces, and it does open those doors. So we are watching the U.S. Everybody, the whole world is. So whatever you guys do, that it looks like it's working for y'all.
Yep.
Even down to like the surgeries and all of that, they're doing it back home too.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, so I want to just ask this question. I think it ties in with this quickly. Do you feel that hip hop reinforces these colorism?
Yes.
Oh
yeah.
The main culprit.
The main culprit.
They will even make songs talking. I've had people call me a red bone. They promote that.
It's the little light skinned woman and the big African woman talking the most.
Skin with this, that. They never say, "Oh, I want a dark skinned queen from Africa." They never say that.
Barely even now. It's starting to pop up in music a little bit, but still, that just you saying that shows that we still have that problem it hasn't gone away at
And
all.
that's the culprit
Yeah.
for a lot of little girls. I mean, if
Yes.
you're constantly hearing that having a red bone is like the ideal, like you've made it as a man, how does that make someone who doesn't
the
look
world
like
is
that
so
feel?
much. There's a young man named Cat Williams who said, "Look at all the famous comedians' wives, and all you have to do is look at them. They look exactly."
Yeah, exactly that, and that's where they get their idea of what they should look like from. Okay, is because whoever the top guy has on his arm, that's what they want to look like. Is what it is. Okay, that's where social media comes in. Anyhow, y'all, I am going to punch out. My hour is up, and it's time for me to get out of here. I put the link in the chat if you actually want to go watch the rest of it. Said the music is not the main. No, it's not the main culprit. But thing is, the social media is is pretty much driving this. Okay, IG, Instagram, commercials, music, TV shows, all this kind of stuff is driving this. Okay, it's not just music. It's the whole culture. Yeah, art. New Style sent me this. I don't know. Did I do a credible job, Art? What do you think? Give me a 1 or give me a 2. Did I do a decent job with this, or did it kind of fall flat? The thing is, we've gone through maybe a little bit over half of this. But the thing is, there's something that they actually agree upon, especially about the colorism and the color and the elevation, and even because somebody said it to me a while back, right? That the African women see African American women as their big sisters, and so they copy them. So that's where some of this stuff is coming from. So light-skinned women are the enemy. No, it's not the enemy. How many women's R&B call for dark-skinned men? Oh, that's a good question. That's a good question. Oh, I've seen quite a few. I've seen quite a few. I can't say I haven't. Michael Jordan changed the game. I've seen quite a few dark-skinned men in in a black females like videos, music videos. I've seen quite a few dark-skinned men. So I say it was about 50-50. It's not as important for women to as far as what their man looks like. Okay, if he's supposed to be dark skinned, okay, then he's got to be cut. He's got to have muscles. He's got to have certain features and stuff like that. Where he's light skinned, not necessarily so much. There's a lot of women that don't cater to light skinned men because they think that they're spoiled and selfish. Okay, and like I said, almost feminine sometimes. So a real masculine man is seen as dark skinned. What's the supermodel's name? I forget his name. Uh, was it Ty? Was not was it wasn't Tyrese? What was it? There used to be on all the force. He was dark skinned. Okay, he was actually dark skinned. He was like the most popular African American model probably in history, and he's dark skinned. So it's about 50-50. Yeah, Tyson Beckford. Okay, Tyson Beckford was in a lot of them. Okay, and he was dark skinned. So it's about 50-50. So you do hear it. You don't hear it. You don't hear it a lot. Okay, but the thing is, I'm not even talking about lyrics. But I'm talking about just the visuals. Okay. Anyhow, let me get what's going on with Growth Talk. What's happening? Anyway, before I bounce, if you guys have a wrench and you guys want to pimp your channel, please do before I close out, because I'm getting ready to get out of here and clock out. But I always want to give my creators a chance to pimp their channel if they want to. So you got about a couple minutes, and we are out of here. I know ABWs are the Cobra Commander on this one. Yep, they are. They are, and it's not really us that the reason they use light skinned models and with a certain a curl pattern is because that's what African American women buy, and that's what they actually aspire to. Okay, see this woman on the picture. They want to look like her. Okay, they want to look like this woman. They actually do. They actually want to look. They actually want to look like her. So that's the ideal woman for most African American women. I said, Theo, Sensei get the lifeboats ready. We out, man. Basically, when it comes to the United States, the Black African American women, the Black manosphere, we outside. Okay, we gone. Okay, we out. Anyhow, y'all, let me go ahead and get out of here, and I will see you guys possibly tomorrow. Okay, I'm thinking about doing something tonight, but I will see because I got some responding to do to some haters, but we'll see. We'll check you guys out. Anime tonight, okay? Where's your link, Ray? Or do you have one? So we already on a lifeboat, yeah. Okay. Got to remember, boy, the calls coming from inside the house. Get out. Anyhow, let me get out of here, folks. I will see you guys tomorrow.
What can I say? Mamba out.
Muzyka Denis 7.